I thought I was about to live the most romantic trip of my life, but instead, I discovered I was never the only one he wanted to bring. My name is Hannah, I'm 27, and I've always been the kind of person who dreamed of love as much as adventure. I grew up watching movies where couples kissed in Paris, walked hand in hand on beaches, or explored new cities together. I wanted that romance mixed with discovery. When I met Ethan, I thought I'd found it. He was charming in a quiet way, with a laugh that felt like sunlight. He wasn't flashy, but he knew how to make the small things feel magical. Surprise coffee deliveries at work, playlists for long drives, handwritten notes on sticky paper stuck to my bathroom mirror. After 2 years together, I was convinced he was the one. So when he called me one Thursday evening, his voice bubbling with excitement, I could hear it before he even said the words, "Pack your bags. I'm taking you on a surprise trip." My heart nearly exploded. "What? Where?" He grinned. "Not telling. Just know it's somewhere warm. Bring dresses, swimsuits, and your sense of adventure." I squealed like a teenager. This was exactly what I'd always dreamed of. For the next few days, I lived on cloud nine. At work, I counted hours. At night, I opened my closet and imagined which dress would flutter best in some ocean breeze. I told Lily, my coworker and friend, that Ethan was finally taking me away. "It's like a movie," she said, hugging me. "You deserve this." Every detail Ethan shared made me fall deeper into the fantasy. He'd booked everything himself. Flights, hotel, activities. "All you have to do," he told me, "is show up and let me spoil you." It was almost too good to be true. The day of the trip, he picked me up at dawn. His car smelled faintly of cologne and coffee. A playlist hummed low through the speakers our songs, the ones we always sang out of tune together. He kept glancing at me with that secretive smile. The kind people were, when they're hiding a gift at the airport, he refused to tell me the destination until the last possible moment. At check-in, I finally saw the city printed on the boarding passes: Cancún, Mexico. My jaw dropped. "Are you serious?" He laughed, wrapping me in his arms. "You said once you'd never seen the Caribbean. Now you will." I kissed him right there in the line, ignoring the people behind us. My boyfriend had surprised me with a tropical getaway. This was it, the kind of story I'd tell our kids someday. On the plane, he was restless. Kept checking his watch, shifting in his seat, tapping his fingers on the tray table. I teased him. "You're acting like a little kid. Nervous flyer?" He smiled too quickly. "Just excited, babe. Can't wait for you to see what I've planned." I believed him. Why wouldn't I? But if I'd looked closer, I might have noticed something else in that restlessness. Something heavier than nerves. When we landed, the heat wrapped around us like a blanket. Palm trees swayed outside the terminal. Taxis honked. Families bustled past. Ethan grabbed my hand and led me through the crowd, practically buzzing with energy. At the hotel, a sleek resort overlooking turquoise water, I pressed against his arm, dazzled. "This is incredible." He kissed my forehead. "Just wait. The best part hasn't even started yet." I thought he meant dinner, or maybe a walk on the beach. I didn't know then that the best part in his mind had nothing to do with me. The first night in Cancun felt like a dream. Our room had a balcony overlooking the ocean, with waves rolling in under a pink sunset. Ethan popped open a bottle of champagne and poured it into hotel glasses. We toasted to new adventures. And for a while, everything seemed perfect. But small things kept tugging at the edges of that perfection. At dinner, Ethan kept glancing at the entrance of the restaurant. Every time the door opened, his eyes flicked up like he was expecting someone. I teased him. "What, waiting for a celebrity sighting?" He laughed too loud. "Just people. You know me." I tried to shake it off, but the nervous energy in his smile didn't match the words. The next morning, he woke up early before sunrise. I rolled over, groggy. "Where are you going?" "Just, checking on something for the trip," he mumbled, grabbing his phone and slipping outside. When I followed him onto the balcony a few minutes later, he was pacing with the phone pressed to his ear. His voice was low, urgent. When he saw me, he ended the call too quickly. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah," he said, pulling me close and kissing my forehead. "Just confirming a reservation." It was believable. Too believable. Later that day, we walked through the resort. Families splashed in the pool. Couples posed for selfies on the beach. Kids ran with melting ice cream cones. It should have felt like paradise. But Ethan seemed distracted. His eyes scanned a crowd more than once, like he was looking for someone. "Are you sure you're okay?" I asked again. "Perfect," he said, wrapping an arm around me, but his shoulders stayed tense. That evening, We had reservations for a beachside dinner, the kind with lanterns glowing in the sand and waves just a few feet away. It should have been magical. But halfway through the meal, he excused himself. "Bathroom," he said, leaving his napkin on the chair. 10 minutes passed. 15, I pushed back my chair, annoyed, and headed toward the restaurant building. But before I reached the door, I saw him. Ethan was standing near the bar, talking to someone. His back was to me, but his posture was different, relaxed, almost affectionate. I slowed my steps, curiosity prickling. When the person leaned forward, I caught a glimpse of her face, a woman about my age, long, dark hair, smiling at him in a way that made my stomach twist. I froze, half hidden behind a palm tree. Ethan laughed softly, the same laugh he used with me. He touched her arm lightly, and she leaned closer. I couldn't breathe. My heart hammered, but my feet felt glued to the sand. Finally, I turned and walked back to our table, forcing my expression neutral. By the time he returned, I was sipping my drink like nothing had happened. "You okay?" he asked. Of course. I lied, but inside, the cracks had already spread. The next morning confirmed it wasn't just my imagination. We were lounging by the pool when Ethan's head suddenly snapped up. I followed his gaze and there she was. The same woman from the night before, walking across the pool deck in a sundress, sunglasses perched on her head. Her eyes met Ethan's. She smiled. And in that instant, I knew this wasn't a coincidence. She was here for him, for us. Or maybe, more truthfully for him, not me. I couldn't unsee the look they shared by the pool, the way his eyes softened, the way her smile lingered. It wasn't casual. It wasn't a coincidence. But I needed the truth spelled out in front of me. That evening, Ethan suggested we try the rooftop bar. "Great view of the sunset," he said, avoiding my gaze. We rode the elevator in silence. My chest was tight, my thoughts louder than the music spilling from the speakers upstairs. When the doors opened, she was already there. The same woman, leaning against the railing with 2 cocktails waiting on the ledge. Her eyes lit up when she saw Ethan. "Finally," she said. Her voice was low, familiar with him. I froze. Finally. Ethan's face drained of color. "Hannah, this is," but I didn't let him finish. "Who is she?" The woman raised an eyebrow. "Wow, you didn't tell her." Ethan stammered. "It's not like that. Not like that." My voice shook, drawing the attention of a few nearby guests. "You brought me here. You told me this was our trip. And now I find another woman waiting for you." The stranger crossed her arms, glaring at him. "You said she knew. You said it was sordid." My heart plummeted. Sordid. Ethan reached for my arm. "Hannah, listen." I yanked it back. "Don't touch me. Don't you dare." The woman stepped closer, anger flashing in her eyes. "You're unbelievable, Ethan. You're playing both of us, aren't you?" "Both." The word sliced through me. She looked straight at me. "I'm not your enemy. I thought you were out of the picture." He told me this trip was for us. The rooftop blurred. My vision swam with rage and heartbreak. My legs shook, but I stood my ground. "You invited us both?" I whispered. "You thought you could juggle 2 lives on the same vacation?" Ethan's voice cracked. "It's not like that." "I didn't mean for you to find out this way." I laughed, bitter and broken. "There is no good way to find this out." By now, people were watching. A couple at a nearby table whispered. Heads turned. A waiter pretended to polish glasses while sneaking glances, but I didn't care. The world could have been burning, and all I saw was him, the man I loved, shattered into someone I no longer recognized. The woman shook her head, disgusted. "I'm done, Ethan. Enjoy your little lies." She grabbed her bag and stormed past us, disappearing into the elevator. I was left standing there, tears stinging my eyes, with him. Ethan reached for me again, desperation in his face. "Hannah, please. She doesn't mean anything. You're the one I love." I stepped back. "Love. You call this love? Flying me across an ocean, making me believe in a dream, while another woman is here waiting for you." He opened his mouth, but no words came out. For once, he had nothing to say. I turned, my voice shaking but loud enough for everyone to hear. "This trip is over. We're over." And I walked away. Back in the room, I threw my suitcase open, shoving clothes inside with trembling hands. Ethan begged me not to leave, pacing like a trapped animal. "You don't understand," he kept saying. It was complicated. "I didn't want to lose you." I zipped the suitcase hard. "You lost me the moment she smiled at you, and you smiled back like I didn't exist." At the airport the next morning, I boarded a flight alone. As the plane lifted off, I looked out the window at the turquoise water below. The place I'd imagined as paradise had turned into proof of betrayal, and I swore to myself I'd never let someone write me out of my own story again. Coming back home alone was surreal. Just days before, I'd been packing bikinis and sundresses, believing I was heading into a dream. Now, I dragged the same suitcase through my apartment door, heavier with shame than with clothes. Friends asked about the trip. I couldn't tell the whole truth. Not yet. I just said it wasn't what I expected. That was the understatement of my life. My phone buzzed for days with Ethan's calls and messages. At first, apologies, then explanations. Then silence. I didn't respond to any of them because there are things you can't explain away. As for the other woman, I never saw her again. She wasn't my enemy. She was a victim too, tricked by the same man. Maybe she went home and cried like I did. Maybe she cursed his name the same way. Maybe she still loved him. I'll never know. What I do know is that the trip that was supposed to be a celebration of love became the moment that ended it. I had gone looking for paradise and found betrayal instead. So now I ask you, if you discovered your partner invited another woman on your romantic getaway, what would you do? Would you confront them on the spot or walk away without a word?